wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are distressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
Okay, so tell the viewers what district you're running for and what position.
So I am running for the 13th Congressional District. It is a seat that most closely resembles the old 16th District, which I was running in for a year. It's west side Fresno County, west side Madera County, all of Merced, west side of Stanislaus, all the way up to a little part of San Joaquin. So it's a really big seat. And we're really excited. It's an open seat right now, which means there's no incumbent because Jim Costa is now running further south. So it's going to be a competitive race. It's one of the top targets.
So what's your position? What have you been doing? Tell us about your background.
So I'm not a native-born San Joaquin Valley resident. I moved out here about 5.5 years ago. My wife was offered a job. She's a nurse practitioner and brought us out here, and we've fallen in love with the area ever since. I always tell people this is my favorite part of California, and I wouldn't want to live in any other part of California.
So what part of East Coast were you from?
I was from Connecticut. I grew up and lived in Connecticut my whole life, except for I went to college in Pennsylvania, but other than that, I was a Connecticut guy.
Wow.
Don't miss the snow, I'll say that.
Yeah, that is some adjustment to get used to this heat.
Well, you know, it's not, I never understood what they meant by a dry heat until I moved out here, so it's definitely a lot better than being 90 and 100%, 80% humidity. It's way worse. So I like the climate out here. I think it's perfect, to be honest with you.
So where is your wife a nurse practitioner at?
She works Children's Hospital Madera and at Valley Children's. So she does that and she loves it. She fell in love the second she got there. It's her dream job. And like I said, we've fallen in love with the area. I mean, I have an uncle that lives in Escondido, and I always tell him all the time I'd rather live in Fresno than down there. And he thinks I'm a little crazy, but I love it. This is a great place to live, and that's one of the reasons that motivated me to run is because I want to ensure that this part of the valley gets the representation it deserves, because I think what we get from people around here is that they're feeling like their voices aren't being heard, and I think the Central Valley is getting left behind in terms of California and even in Washington. So
what do you do? She's a nurse practitioner. Tell us about your background.
So I was a high school history teacher. When I moved out here, I did some teaching in Washington Union School District, Washington Unified, and now I actually own a sports collectibles shop in Clovis on Ashland and Fowler. It's called Cali Cards and More. We opened up.
I know exactly where I live down the street.
Yeah, so we opened up about 1.5 years ago, so I've been doing that. I started an online business, and the sports collectibles and the gaming, Pokemon, it's all really popular right now, and I found, actually my friend Norm, who you know, found that spot, and the rent was good, and it wasn't too long of a lease, and I wanted to give it a shot, so I'm really
exciting.
Really
wow.
enjoying it.
So what did you think when you became a history teacher here? What are your thoughts on the Common Core?
I've never been a fan of the Common Core. One of the things that I think needs to be done in education that I'm really pushing for is, one, I'm a really big proponent of school choice. A lot of my teaching experience, even when I was on the East Coast and even out here, came in an urban environment. And I think that those kids are the ones who deserve school choice the most. We need to give kids the access to get a quality education. You know, some of these schools, we're just not preparing our kids, and they're being forced to go to these schools.
And you're being forced to teach a curriculum you're not really wanting to.
Yeah, and I think what we need to do is bring things back locally. I think that parents, local school boards, local teachers have a better idea of what their kids need in the classroom than some bureaucrat in Washington. And I think Common Core, while it sounds great on paper, it's kind of a one-size-fits-all thing. It's saying everybody around the country at every school is going to teach it this way, and it doesn't really work because every school district has different needs, and I've never been a fan of it, and it's not working. Our test scores have actually declined for the first time in 4 decades under Common Core. So we have to take a serious look at what we're doing. I think a lot of it is giving some more power back to local communities.
So you mentioned that. I know you're really focused on helping us with our water. And how are you going to do that?
Well, that's a great question. We have a really good water plan on our website. If you want to go to the website, it's davidforthevalley.com. And we have a really bold water plan. One of the things we try to do is I want to take this situation national. And some people say, well, you're not born here, so what do you know about water? I think it's given me a unique perspective. When I lived on the other side of the country, on the East Coast. If you had told me where peaches come from, I would have told you they came from Georgia. And if you had told me oranges, you know, I think of Florida. And I never realized that 70% of the fruits and vegetables come from this, that feed our country, and the rest of the world come from this part of California. I think there's a lot of people across the country that don't understand that. And we need to get the message out why the water issue is not just a California problem. This is a national problem. And that's really the job of the representative. I feel that should be on television, educating the rest of the country, getting this thing solved. And what our plan does, it's meant to be a very comprehensive plan and address not just the needs of agriculture. I say, let's address a lot of the environmental concerns, and let's also address the municipal concerns. I have things in there where let's build some desalination plants on the coast to help so the southern cities in Southern California don't have to take so much of our water from here. You can build a desalination plant now for $1 billion, which used to be a lot of money, but now we're in the trillions, so it's not that much anymore. And then things like in protecting the native species in the Delta, that's in the plan. So this isn't just, hey, let's give water for ag. This is a plan that's designed to help everybody and bring everyone to the table finally and get a comprehensive solution. And it's not just going to benefit California, it's going to benefit the entire country. And I think if we can take the plan national and build national support, we can finally get it done.
I agree. And I think that what goes in everyone's minds, like, oh my gosh, how much money is this going to take? I know you said it might be in the billions, and then it's like, well, it's coming out of our taxpayers' money. How do we make it work?
Well, I think that's a great question. You know, we're spending right now trillions of dollars in our budget, and we're spending a lot of things on wasteful programs that we probably don't need.
What are some of the wasteful programs?
And, well, I mean, there's a lot of entitlement programs. I think we have to look at how we're spending money. I mean, we have a bloated educational spending. We're spending a lot. We're throwing a lot of money in education, and our results are going down. So we have to look at some programs where we can
redistribute money.
Redistribute the money. A lot of our money going in foreign aid and foreign, you know, a lot of money being spent on foreign aid. And I'm all for helping other countries, but we have to protect our own country first. And our food supply is a national security issue. So instead of giving some of that money to other countries, we need to reinvest in the United States first, because this is, to me, it's a national security issue. We're talking about our food supply. We have to protect it. And if we don't, we're going to become reliant on other countries for our food. And you can see right now we're in the position where we're now once again asking other countries for oil. And in California, we're paying more than any state in the country for oil. And so we can't have that. So I think we have to look at how we're spending money. If we're going to spend trillions of dollars, let's spend it on the things that matter. They did the infrastructure bill a couple months ago, and 1.2 trillion, it was supposed to be for infrastructure, but less than 10% of that actually went to infrastructure. So if we're going to spend trillions of dollars, make it count.
So if you get elected, what kind of time and energy are you going to put into this position?
Oh, I'm going to put 110%, because I think that that's kind of what's missing. My job, my goal, I always say it feels cheesy. My goal isn't to go there and be kind of a career politician. I know people say that I am running for office, so I am a politician now. But I think we need more people to stand up that are from outside the political spectrum, that have never run for office before, because we see what's going on. I talk to people every day, and I'm one of them. I understand people are struggling. So I'm doing this 110% because I want to get something done. I'm sick and tired of people on both sides going to Washington, going to Sacramento, and not wanting to do anything and not wanting to take up the hard issues, because all they're worried about is getting reelected in 2 years or in 4 years. And they don't want to take up the hard battles. And I think it's hurting us the most. So my goal is to go there and make some noise and really try and push for change. We need some new blood in there, people that just want to get stuff done.
So what do you think the biggest problems that we've had so far?
Oh, man, in terms of, there's a lot of them.
Well, like you said, there's a lot of career politicians, and they're going there trying to get reelected, so issues aren't being done. Why are some of the reasons that issues aren't being done, and how can you make sure that they do get done? I know you're going to make some noise. What are some other ways?
Well, I think things like immigration's been an issue we've been talking about for 4 decades, and we're still really at the same point we were at 40 years ago when they talked about immigration. And I have some ideas that I want to bring to the table, that we have to try and bring people together and say, listen, we need to get this done. It's the same thing with the water plan. You know, when you approach it from an ag standpoint, the environmental groups immediately say, no, it's just the farmers trying to take our water, or the Southern California cities trying to take our water. So I said, let's do a plan that brings everyone to the table and addresses the needs of everyone. So with immigration, we want to, we need to have a barrier on our border. It's a national security issue. It has nothing to do with race. You got to know who's coming in your house in the middle of the night, right? You don't leave your door unlocked.
Right.
But I also want to make it better for people, we need to streamline our process for people that want to come here legally. You know, anybody that wants to come here should be allowed to come here. There's no reason it should take 5 years, 10 years for people to come here legally. Let's make it more efficient, more streamlined, 21st century type stuff to make the process more efficient so there's more desire for people to come here legally. And other things, I mean, right now inflation's a big problem. That's one of the things when we talk about people are really struggling with the rising cost of goods, especially in California. It's one of the highest financial burden places to live. We can't keep spending money recklessly and expect to have no consequences. So we have to be more fiscally responsible, and we have to bring the costs of goods and services down. We cannot just keep printing money.
What are some of the ways we can do that?
Well, one, we got to stop spending trillions and trillions of dollars on every little program. We have to get a smaller government. I think a lot of it we have to do is we have to put some more burden back on local and state governments, let them take control of some things. The federal government right now is just bloated and overgrown, and they want to have their hands on everything. Good example is, once again, education. Our education spending, there's this stigma that we're not spending enough on education. We're actually spending 200 times more than we were 40 years ago, and the results are worse. So just spending more money on a problem doesn't make it better. We have to be efficient in how we're doing things. So we can cut costs at the federal level by giving some power back to the states, and then that's going to bring the cost of goods and services down. We need to make it so people want to invest in the United States, produce more goods in the United States. That's an issue. Right now we have a port crisis, right? We're not getting things shipped in time. We were relying on China for a lot of our products. When the pandemic hit, it closed a lot of the shipping, the exchange. Goods became scarce. Used cars is a good example. We couldn't get chips. They were all coming from China. So nobody could get a used car, so the price of used cars skyrocketed. We have to make it easier for companies to want to produce in the United States, and we have to penalize companies that are outsourcing their production.
And do you consider yourself a small business owner? Because I know you have
Yes.
a lot of aid. You want to help small businesses. So tell us a little bit about that and the insight you have by being a small business owner to help them.
Well, one of the things, I'm really passionate about helping small businesses. I think that was another thing that really motivated me to step up and run. You know, during the pandemic, I think a lot of small business owners we've talked to, they remember that they were basically told, hey, you're not essential and you have to be closed. And a lot of them are struggling. They're barely hanging on right now. Restaurants are some of the ones that were hit the hardest. They were closed for almost a year in some cases. And I think we have to come up with ways to make it better on small businesses, decrease regulations that are hurting small businesses.
Like what?
Well, one of the things we're talking about right now is raising wages. And there's always this thing, we got to raise the minimum wage, $15, $20. Once again, I don't like one-size-fits-all solutions to problems because not every small business can handle $15 or $20. Some businesses, if you say, hey, you got to pay everyone $20 an hour, what they're going to do is they're going to lay off their employees. They might shut down, or they're going to give less hours.
And you have a lot of angry customers because we are underemployed right now. We have one person working that there should be two.
So one of the ideas that I have to help raise wages is we need to make it easier for small business owners to raise wages by giving them tax credits for raising their employees' raises, what they can do. So if you raise your employees' raises 15%, you get a tax credit for your business equal to however much. So the more you raise your employees' wages, the bigger tax credit your business gets at the end of the year. So there's an incentive for businesses to raise the wages without having to say everybody's having one size fit all. So everyone can do it within their own comfort level, and businesses are actually going to want to do it more because they're going to get that money back from the government. So I think that's one way to look at, rather than saying you're all paying everybody $20 an hour and you're not getting anything back for it. So, because that's going to put people out of business. So I think we need creative solutions like that, new ways of thinking about things. I think we get the stigma a lot of times that, Republicans don't want to raise the minimum wage. No, we just want to make sure that we're not putting everyone out of business, because small businesses are the backbone of our country, and we have to protect them. And they're struggling right now.
Right. So that's really good that you get insight. Tell us a little bit about your business. That's really interesting.
It is
interesting. That's really going to be a unique perspective.
Yeah. So I do sports collectibles and a lot of gaming stuff. It's mostly baseball cards, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. It's really popular right now. The pandemic really, people were home. It really took off again during the pandemic. Also, sports cards, baseball cards were really big in the early 90s. And
Right.
a lot of the people who collected then, they were kids then, and now they've grown up. And they remember, hey, when I was a kid, I used to do this. And so they're having children now, and they're thinking, hey, I'm going to get my kid back into it, and I'm going to start collecting with my kids. So it's gotten really popular because those people are now parents, and they're remembering how much fun they had as kids, so they're getting their kids involved in it. So it kind of took off during the pandemic, and it's really fun. I mean, it's a small store, but we get a lot of people coming in, a lot of grown men buying Pokemon nowadays.
bet.
So it's crazy.
Do you have an online store as well? Can people watching this and other parts order?
Most of it's done on, most of it I do on eBay online. I like to just, mostly people come in the store because I am not good at keeping up-to-date inventory online because it's very fluid. But yeah, eBay, we're on eBay, and a lot of it, I do some business on Facebook and stuff, but it's mostly in store now.
And if you get elected, do you have someone that could run us? You can go to Washington and fight for us?
Yeah, so I've hired help, and I'm pretty much doing the campaign now full time. So I'm not at the store as much. And
we want you in Washington.
I have people working and covering it. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a little sad because I enjoy owning the business. I love being there, but
You'll be where you're needed.
Yeah, this is something I think we need people to step up. I think that's something that's important now.
Who are some politicians that are endorsing you right now?
So we have some really good local endorsements. I mean, Kevin Cookingham endorsed me. He ran.
I love him.
He ran in the second, the 16th district last time, so he's endorsed me. We have 3 police chiefs: Chief Rivera in Chowchilla, Chief Markle in Livingston, Chief Blevins from Coalinga. We have pretty much almost the entire Chowchilla City Council. We have City Councilman from Coalinga, Adam Atkinson. He's been one. The former mayor of Coalinga, Nathan Vosberg. 2 city councilmen up in Los Banos. So we're doing really good on getting local endorsements. There's a lot of attention that's going to be placed on this race. So we're hoping in the coming months we'll get some big name national endorsements. Like I said, it's an open seat in California, and we don't get that very often. And this is a time I think a Republican can win this seat. So we have to stand and fight because we need a change.
For sure.
Yeah.
Where can we go and support you? And if we want to get money to the campaign, where can we go for all that?
So my website, davidforthevalley.com. So it's David, F-O-R,
which is a great website, by the way. You lay out everything, and everyone should go there to
we put a lot on there. I try to be detailed because, I go on a lot of political websites, and it's like there's not a lot of the issues. So I said, you know what? I've always been the kind of guy who, when the teachers used to give me a paper and stuff, I always wrote more than they asked for. So I tried to be as detailed as possible. And then we're on Twitter and Facebook. On Facebook, it's David for the Valley, and on Twitter, it's David Giglio, my last name, Giglioca. And we're also on Getter, same username, and on Instagram, same username, David Giglio CA. So we're on all those platforms. You've probably seen some of our advertisements. We've been advertising on Facebook for a while now.
And are you good about telling us where you're going to be, where you're going to be speaking if we want to come see you and ask questions?
Yeah, absolutely. We will post it usually on our social media and everything and get it out there. We're looking to have some town halls in the very near future. Councilman Atkinson in Coalinga is helping set one up there, so that's probably going to be our first one. We're excited about that, and we're planning to do a lot more around the district. It took a little while for the redistricting, so I don't know if everybody knows, but they changed the seats around.
Yes,
so we've only known what this seat was going to look like now for like a month and a half. So
wow.
it took a while. You thought you were running in one area, and then it changes. But yeah, we're pretty good about telling people.
You live in your area for the most part, right?
Yeah, well, I live like a half a mile out of it now because they changed it.
But you're
at the last minute. Yeah, I'm in the ranchos. I live in the Madera ranchos, and we campaigned in most. So 50% of the 16th, the old 16th, got put into this new 13th.
Does that mean some of your friends can't vote for you because they're
a little bit, but we've been campaigning in the bulk of this district for over a year now, specifically in Merced County. We've spent a lot of time in Merced County. We have a lot of signage up in Merced County. It was always a focal point of ours, so we were very happy that that's a full county in the district. So we spent a lot of time in over 50% of it for over a year. So even though it moved a little bit, it's still close to what we intended from the start.
And do you feel accepted now, like this is your home since you've been in the
Oh,
ranches?
yeah. I mean, I've always felt accepted out here. Everybody's great. I mean, I love the ranchos. We live over at Riverstone. It's the new development. Some of the people in the ranchos call it the fake ranchos because it's new. But we've loved it out here. I mean, the people out here are great, and that's why I really want to fight for this part of California.
You're really in the heart of small businesses.
Yeah, I want to make sure that this part of California stays one of the best places to live in California. And we need people who are going to advocate for us in Washington and kind of speak up and you know, be that squeaky wheel, because that's one of the common themes I get from people, is that they feel left behind. They feel like the Valley's getting a deaf ear turned towards it in Sacramento and on a national level, and they want somebody who's going to be in there and really advocate for this part of California. You know, they see agriculture's been under attack for decades now, and they just want somebody there who is going to speak up for them, and that's kind of what I plan to bring to the table. I'm not doing this so I can go there and get reelected. Hey, I want to get reelected. If I win, I would love to get reelected, but I also want to go there and fight for something. And if there's going to be consequences, I'm willing to take them, because at the end of the day, we need people that are going to stand up. Nothing's going to get done if people don't want to tackle tough topics.
And being in the East Coast, do you have any friends or connections out there that you think you can utilize when you go to Washington?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple friends that live in D.C. They're lawyers, so I plan to have them help me out, especially with legislation
What do they think about
and stuff.
this? About
Oh,
you
they're
running?
excited. You know, they know it's a lot. They're kind of like, "Man, you're really doing it." I'm like, "Yeah, you know, it's hard to think that." You know, hey, we used to hang out with you and play baseball, and now you're running for Congress. So they're supportive.
You got the cards and you have.
Yeah, and I have, you know, I have some consultants on the East Coast that are helping me out in the race too. So, you know, I look at it as the East Coast kind of as a plus, because it allowed me to look at this from a different perspective.
Right.
Like, I am thinking, wait a minute, I had no idea how important agriculture in California is until I moved out here. So I know there's a lot of people across the country that they're like, hey, why are all our fruits and vegetables, our prices are going up? And they're not thinking it's because California, we're not getting water, our farmers are losing their land. We need to bring it national. So there's people around the country that are saying, hey, we need to fix California's water issue because it's affecting my ability to afford groceries for my family. So it gives me a unique perspective, I think. I look at it as a bonus.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. This was great.
Thank you for having me. Hopefully I'll be back soon.
To speak about your win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on Everything Sparkle today, Anna. So
Yes.
tell our audience who you are and where your yoga studio is.
Okay, so my name is Ana Gabriela Roybal Rodriguez, but I also go by Ana Venture on Instagram because my life is an adventure.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really dope. Okay.
So my yoga studio is Manifestation Yoga, and it is going northbound down Van Ness. So if you're leaving downtown to Tower District, it's right before Olive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's it by? What's like the area that it's like? What's another like?
So if you know
Location.
where, Brass Unicorn, the crystal shop, gift shop.
Okay, cool.
It's literally, I'm their neighbor. I'm 2 doors down.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What a good location.
Yeah,
Oh,
it really is. It really
exciting.
is. Yeah, and it's in its own commercial property, so there's parking. I'm on the 2nd floor, and you'll see my my sign. It'll say
I
Manifestation.
thought you were gonna say there's gonna be like a hippie van there because
Right.
I mean, I could see you having that with the logo on it. That'd be really cool.
Check it out. So this is my aesthetic, I guess you can say. I love the 70s. I love the color scheme, the music, everything about it.
Do you play 70s music when we do yoga at your place?
You know, I play a variety of music because I'm not picky, but I would say that you'll hear a little bit of Fleetwood Mac, a lot of, different.
Oh, I love that. That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, that's definitely my vibe.
So what are you going to teach us today?
Okay, so let's just start off with a balancing posture. Balancing postures are great to build stamina and all that good stuff, but with yoga, you know, balance is a big part of it, not only in the body, but within the mind.
Right.
So we're gonna start with tree pose because we are grounded individuals, Sparkle and I. So we're going to ground into our right foot, okay? And we'll come on to left tip toes. And then we'll open left hip, so we can even use our hand to guide it open. And from here, we first want to feel balanced within the right foot. So check it out, see how you're feeling. Maybe we even ground in the right big toe. And then we can lift our left foot into the inside of right shin and press it against. So this is one variation of tree pose. You're doing it. And now if we want to go further, we can slightly lean forward to grab left ankle and now place it against right thigh.
Nice.
Yeah.
So can we also do our other side too?
Yeah,
I like what I feel even.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the same
Do it,
thing.
yeah,
but on
we
that
definitely
side, I
wanna
was
show the symmetry.
I want to be like even. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't just do one leg. So.
Excellent. So think about, you know, really focusing on your midline, thinking tight is light the more we inhale, and squeeze the taller we are. And
I
now
love
we're a
this.
beautiful tree.
Beautiful tree.
Yes.
Oh, how long are we supposed to stay in the poses? I'm sorry.
You know,
I
no,
jumped
you're
the
good.
gun
You're
a little
good.
bit there.
Typically, it's about 5 to 10 breaths.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's something we
I'll
want to
stay
do.
in them longer.
Yeah, there's something we want to do in our tree pose is find our drishti, and that is a Sanskrit word for gaze.
Okay.
So when we're in it, we want to stare at a spot that's not moving to stay focused.
Oh, smart.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. And
Got it.
most of all, it's all about the breath. You know that.
All about the breath.
Yeah.
Well, you need to come here and we need to do this more often. I love
Yeah,
this.
let's do it.
Okay, so what's our next pose?
Okay, so we'll continue standing and we'll shift into our warrior one pose. So I invite you to lift, well, you'll do your side, lift right knee up slightly.
The right
And then
knee.
we'll step it back about 3 to 4 feet. And now we're going to bend throughout the front leg. And we want to be able to see our big toe. So if your knee's leaning in, lean it over the ankle. And then we'll breath in, lift hands to the sky for warrior one pose. Excellent. And it's really about sinking into our hips, into that right knee to lower down. But on your breath out, think about relaxing your
there we go.
shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah. Because often, you know, we're squeezing and reaching up, but we
for
really want
sure.
to think
No,
about
this is supposed to be relaxing. I
releasing
love
the
that.
tension in the shoulders within the neck. Yeah. Breath in, and then breath out. We can step that left foot back to meet the right, or in your case, right to meet the left. Breath out, hands down.
Okay, now I'm with
Warrior
you.
one.
We have to do the other side to be even.
Yeah. And I love that you said that because in yoga, you want to create that even balance stretch. So we will do the opposite now.
Is it hard to like know in your head to count time and everything because it's, you know what I mean? Is it hard to be like, oh, I did like 5 seconds here and you do 5 seconds here?
You
Not
know,
really.
I guess I just kind of feel it. I read the
Really?
room.
So you're-
and I'm a
You're a pro. So I guess
exactly.
yeah, you
I
got
didn't want to say it, but I'm a pro.
No,
I
that's
can. I
awesome.
feel it. I feel it when
Because
I'm in
I would
there,
be
so.
like, oh my gosh, should I do that longer than that? Because everything
Yeah.
I do is a count. So
I typically, it really depends on the style of yoga. There's vinyasa yoga, which is more flow. There's restorative, which is with props and more stillness. So that one, in restorative, you hold a posture for 3 to 5 minutes, a little bit
Oh,
longer,
okay.
rather than the flow.
I
Right?
see. Okay.
Yeah.
So it matters on which one you're doing.
Yeah,
Okay. So we're gonna
exactly.
do. What was this one again?
So warrior one. So opposite
opposite
side now
sides.
is bending throughout that front knee. And then breath in, thinking long spine. Exhale, relax shoulders away from ears. Yeah. And maybe breath in again. And then breath out. Maybe we go a little deeper into that front knee. Excellent.
Nice.
And then exhale, we can have hands come down and step back up.
I cannot wait to come to your studio. This is fun.
So something about the studio, if you don't mind me saying, it's a small, intimate space. It's about 1,000 square feet, and it's great for private group sessions as well. Because a lot of people aren't that comfortable going to yoga in a big studio because it could be intimidating, shyness, whatever it is.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But if you book a class with your friends, with your family, it's a lot more comfortable, and it allows you to, you know, laugh at yourself, to ask questions and all that. So I really want to I want people to feel welcome to try yoga.
So what's the size that you like? About 5 to 10 people?
Yeah.
That's your thing?
10 is my max, and 5 is typically about how many people will come to a ssession. Right?
Nice.
So it's nice because it's not that many, it's not too overwhelming, and people really get to step into their practice. And I'm already seeing people progress. in the
I think
practice.
it's cool because then you can keep a closer eye on them when it's not like a huge class.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, let's do this a little bit deeper. Let's go. You kind of know what
Exactly.
people can do.
Yeah.
And you kind of read the room. I like that.
Exactly. I love it too, and it allows me to create a bond with the people that are coming as well.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
what are we doing next? I'm so excited.
So let's see. Let's go into a forward fold. Actually,
Okay.
we're gonna do a slight sun salutation. Are you familiar?
Nice. No.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna cue the breath. So just follow me.
Okay.
First, we'll do a breath in and out together. Slow inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And breath in as hands rise to the sky. Exhale, we'll forward fold all the way. And now inhale, we're gonna halfway lift, so thinking long spine, bringing hands to shins. And now exhale back down, big bend in the knees to plant hands to the ground and step back into a plank pose. How are we doing? Excellent. Plank pose, the breath in, lean forward. Exhale, we're going to chaturanga down onto the belly. Untuck your toes now and press palms against the mat to lift into a high cobra. Exhale down and breath in, downward facing dog. Feeling free to walk it out here, you know, if the hamstrings are feeling a little tight.
So what, this is the sunrise?
Sun salutation.
Sun salutation, okay.
And then from here, with your feet, you can either take a few steps or one big step to meet your hands to come back into that forward fold. Breath in, breath out, and then inhale, hands rise to the sky. Exhale, palms down by your side.
I've done this before. I didn't know that was what it was called. Why is it called that?
You know, that's a really great question. That is what I learned in my yoga practice. But there's Sun A, Sun B. And
Okay, so do you know the difference of the suns?
Yeah. Well, the Sun B has a few extra positions. It goes into like the low, lunge and stuff like that. But I would say it's a sequence, that whole flow.
So
we
it had
just
nothing to
did.
do with the way the sun is?
You know, it might. Honestly, they're great to do in the morning, like a sunrise.
I
You know
love
what I
that.
mean?
That's
So I
amazing.
do them in the morning. And you could do a vinyasa flow class. We'll typically have one sun salutation to 10. It really just depends on the
Oh.
instructor and stuff like that.
Got it.
But flow will often have one sun salutation.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're a beginner, are these like things beginners can do at home that are watching us now?
You know, it really depends on the person, I would say, because I've been to beginner classes, I teach beginner classes, and some people are like, that's not beginner. So it really depends on, I think, what people's goals and needs are. And overall, I do teach beginner yoga, and I think I am really great at reading the room and understanding what people's limits are, because I want people to, again, feel welcome. So of course, try the pose, but don't feel overwhelmed to look just like me or your neighbor in a position.
No, I think that's really important to point
Yeah.
out. I think, so you're saying people get intimidated in a big yoga class,
Exactly.
right?
So yoga is for everybody, and there's all kinds of, like I said earlier, the styles. There's even chair yoga. You can use props like pillows and blankets. Like you can start at any level that you're comfortable with.
And I want to point out, like working in the gym, being around bodybuilders, I actually have done some yoga where the bodybuilders came and they said because they don't stretch enough and they use it as a cross training. So it really is for everybody. It's not like, and it's very hard for them. You know, it's really hard because if you're not used to stretching, so it's a challenge for everybody.
And I know there's a lot of people who, you know, do CrossFit that don't even stretch. So the stretching can be.
That's why this is important for me. I'm that guilty of not stretching. So.
Yeah. And you know me now, so.
I'm like gonna be your yoga stalker.
Yeah. Oh my God, I would love that.
Okay, so what are some other things we could do at home?
Okay, so let's shift into our child's pose.
Okay.
So all of the postures I've shown you so far in the sequence, the sun salutation, are very common yoga postures. So let's go onto the ground. We can come onto the knees. And okay, to come into child's pose, we'll kiss the big toes together.
Okay.
We'll separate the knees apart. And then we'll walk the hands.
Is that important how separated you are here to get a better pose and more
I
your
would
knees
say,
up?
yeah, the wider you have the knees, perhaps the lower your hips can go towards the heels.
Wow, see, I never knew that.
But there is a variation where you can do knees together, but knees apart.
Because I thought you were trying to get your butt kind of low.
Yeah,
at one
so
point.
yeah, so even like, again, walking the knees farther away from each other,
Okay.
and then from here, walk hands as, what's comfortable as far as you can, so that we can create length throughout the arms and then the spine, and then breath out, we can rest the forehead down to the ground.
So is it just you that teaches at the studio, or do you have other teachers?
Yeah, as of right now, it is just me. Yeah, it's my studio.
Well, I think it's it's really like incredible that you do so many different hours.
Yeah, thank you. Right now I'm trying to really build that schedule, and it's been really great the past few weeks. There's been a lot of consistency, engagement, and I'm just super excited.
So do you want your chest to be as low as possible as well?
So as you breathe out, yeah, you just want your chest to naturally drop towards the ground.
Isn't that funny? As girls, we're usually trying to do the opposite.
Yes. Yeah, but right now we're chilling, we're relaxing, we're releasing the stress built throughout the day.
I'm feeling a good thigh stretch. I really like that you showed me how to do that. I haven't done it quite like this where I'm going as far out as possible. I'm going to start doing this for my thigh stretch. It's really good.
And then from here we can actually shift back up into a tabletop position. So tabletop, excuse me, I got a lot of hair. Tabletop is when we come onto hands and knees, so shoulders over wrist, hips over knees, and we want to even slightly engage the lower belly so that our belly doesn't drop just yet in our tabletop position.
And we can do gift certificates for friends and family, like if it's somebody's birthday.
Yeah, we can. Everything's on my website, so you can book private
I love
classes.
that. You've thought of everything, huh?
Yeah.
I figured.
And honestly, it's been really fun to like create the website and just all that, all the different services.
I think it's a great place to kind of have like a party, like if you want to do something with people but you don't know what to do.
So I just did a Galentine's party.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah, and it was really fun. There was charcuterie board, wine, all that good stuff.
So we can like eat and drink. I'm definitely there.
Yeah,
this is my kind of yoga, guys.
Yeah, just feel free to contact me and we can work something out.
Yeah. You're gonna make sure you schedule no one around Sparkles. Rowdy yoga time.
Right. Did I even say the name of my studio? Do you know it? I don't even think I said it. I think I said where it was. But it's called Manifestation.
Manifestation. I did hear that, but I don't know if I heard it on the show.
I was thinking about it in Child's Pose, because in Child's Pose you kind of reflect and connect. I was like, wait a minute, I don't even think I said it. But it's called, you know what? Let's take a minute. Let's
Manifestation.
go into down dog.
Okay.
Walk hands back to your feet, and then breath in. We can rise and shift back into our standing position.
I feel so. I need to do this before a show every day. Can you come here every time we film and?
Yeah. Give me a little check and I will. But okay, manifestation, yoga, and wellness, and it's a play on words. It's not manifestation. It's manifest station. You get it? Like the location, the studio. Yeah.
So on that note, like, I know probably when you get a studio, you definitely don't want to make house calls, but do you make house calls if somebody really wants it?
I can. I definitely can. Yeah, I can travel. Again, the private
But you have the
sessions
studio, so it's like...
Yeah, it's really great because, they can have a private session there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can do house calls.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we're going to look at the website, which is...
manifestationyoga.com.
And then your Instagram
is Manifestation Yoga.
And then your Facebook
is, well, I actually have a Facebook page. It's Manifestation Yoga and Wellness. Yeah.
And now everybody is going to know the name of this place.
Yeah. And it's in the Tower District, the heart of it, really close to downtown.
And you're cool if we DM you and all of that.
Feel free to message me on Manifestation Yoga, Instagram, Facebook as well. And there is a contact form on the website as well.
Oh, perfect. You really have that. Well, I wish you so much success. We're always trying to support local businesses. Mm-hmm. And I've heard like there's another place in Tower that's really crowded all the time.
And
which is why my friend asked about your place.
Yeah. And that's probably the other location in the Tower Yoga. And they're great too. They're great. They have hot yoga, but mine again is a more intimate space for if you're trying to either try yoga, if you want to get back into your practice.
So it's not, theirs is just hot yogas and yours not.
Yeah, I do not have hot yoga.
Well, so that's perfect. Well,
but I do have power yoga.
A lot of my friends are very intimidated by the hot yoga, so I think you're going to get a lot of my people sent your way.
Okay, cool. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on my show today. And we're going to have you back to we'll do more advanced, after I come meet with you for some one-on-ones, we'll come here and do more advanced stuff. How's that sound?
I would love that. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Sparkle.
The implementation of the first foot and bike patrols in the history of the tower. Now I want to start off right on the top by making strongly commit to some very aggressive changes. We will dispatch the homeless from our neighborhoods we will dispatch the homeless to an appropriate place. We will sweep the streets of garbage, filth, hypodermic needles, and human excrement, and we'll clean up the graffiti. We will find, we will beautify our neighborhoods. We'll get behind efforts like Tree Fresno. One day we'll be called Fresno Tree City, and we will preserve our historic structures.
Thanks for coming on my show, Mike Briggs.
It's my pleasure. The sparkle. Everything's sparkle. I've made it, finally.
Well, you're the one that gave me my start.
Did I?
And then you're running for your old seat, right?
My old city council seat, yes.
And what's the deal? So everything kind of changed districts, right? So is it still the same?
No, it's a little different, but my house is still in the district, and it's a district, by the way. I was born just up the street at the hospital, the old St. Agnes.
Oh, wow.
And my parents took me home just a block the other way where we lived for years. So I was born right there. And I bought my first house there. I bought my most recent house there. And this is the last house. I'm going to live in this house forever. You know where I live.
Right. We're going to give the address at the end. So when they changed it around, how much has it shifted?
Well, each district has to be the same. So since so many more people are moving in the north, the southern districts have to expand and take in more people. So there's about 78,000 people, but it's relatively the same. It has a tower district.
And you were in that seat for how long?
I was elected once, served for 4 years, and then I went to the state legislature for 2 terms after that.
Wow. So this is so exciting. What made you want to do this again?
Well, I live in the tower district, and I like to walk around to the different restaurants and have a bite to eat. And I eat out every night, or at least 1 meal a day out in the area. And things have just gotten crazy. The homeless, the graffiti, the homeless people leave little things on the sidewalk, that's just so disgusting. So we're going to clean up the area. That's my main thing. We're going to clean up the area. We're going to dispatch the homeless people to a more appropriate place. They don't belong on our streets and our sidewalks and living in doorways and stuff like that. So we're going to dispatch the homeless. We're just going to clean up the streets and make it a beautiful,
Where are we going to put them?
place. Well, they don't belong on the streets. We need, first of all, there's 3 types of homeless. I don't want to bore you with this, but the first type are the mentally ill. They're standing outside of the tower market screaming at their invisible foe. We don't throw away our sick people here in Fresno. We need a place for the mentally ill.
Right.
Second, there's the people who just have had a horrible, something happen, hard luck, and they're homeless. So we need a safety net for them. But the third kind of homeless are those who they're lazy, and it's just so much easier to set up a tent on the sidewalk than to do what you and I do, go and get a first and last month's rent and PG&E and all that stuff. So those people who are exercising the option that Fresno lets them have right now, which is just go camp anywhere, we're going to revoke that option. And if they really, really just want to live outdoors, we'll get a place for them far from our neighborhoods, maybe out in the country somewhere, with toilets and showers. Some of these people need showers, but not in our neighborhoods. We'll have a place for everyone.
So you've thought of all this about where to put them. That's really detailed.
We're not going to give away free houses to people. I don't like that. But certainly a place for the mentally ill, a place for those who've hit hard times. Yeah, they need a safety net, a nice place to go where they'd be safe and warm, maybe regroup a bit, get some, maybe have a clothing bank where people will get some free clothes, a computer so they can apply for jobs, help people get back on their feet. But that third group, just the lazy people who just are camping out, those are the ones that got to go.
Right. So what are you going to do differently this time? Was there stuff that you were working on that you didn't get to finish? What do you want to do this time around?
Well, that's the best question. Nobody fed that to you because we got so much done last time. And then when I left for the legislature, after a few years, it all got erased. I begrudgingly voted to build the stadium. I did not think that was going to be a financial boon for Fresno, but I thought it was a good amenity. And in the stadium, we had the Giants affiliate, San Francisco Giants, and it was AAA, so those players are coming every week to play in Fresno, just when they're on rehab or, working out an injury or something. We saw them in Fresno. I saw Madison Bumgarner, Lissicum, all these great players. So I go off to Sacramento, I come back, we're not AAA team anymore, we're not AA, we're not single A, we're the lowest possible league there is in baseball, Pacific Coast League. What happened? So that was our investment. And I feel we've almost lost that investment. We need to bring AAA baseball back. When I left Fresno, the last thing I did before I left, my big initiative, we eliminated every parking meter in downtown Fresno. They were gone. And instead, you know, we want to turn over the parking, so we chalk the tires, make sure people move along. But this thing where you get a $40 ticket because you don't have a quarter, we got rid of the meters. I went to Sacramento, came back, parking meters are back. So things like that. I started the first ever foot and bicycle patrols in the tower.
Really?
That was my thing. I got that going in the late 90s when I was on the council. Where are they now? So it's things like that. One more important thing we did in the past, we got the police department up to 2 cops for every 1,000 citizens. That was in the late 90s. I was there, Jim Patterson was there as the mayor. Now we're at 1.4 cops per 1,000. You know, what happened? We need to totally and completely fund our police department and fire department, public safety. We need to have them fully funded. They need all the equipment they need so they're safe. We want our police officers and firefighters to feel comfortable, come to work, and you're going to go home safe to your family. We're not going to keep putting them in these positions where they don't have the right equipment. They go to a hot call where there's some danger and they don't have a backup. We've got to turn all that around.
And now people are going into stores and just robbing them in broad daylight. Security guards can't have guns. I don't know if they have tasers or pepper sprays. It doesn't seem like that. So everyone's just loading up and then leaving. How can we?
Well, something happened a few years ago. It's called Prop 47, and it's called the Safe Neighborhood and Schools Act. You'd vote for that, right?
Right.
It passed by 60% of the vote. It wasn't about safe neighborhoods, and it was not about schools. It was about taking felony crimes and reducing them to misdemeanors. So all of a sudden, things that used to be a felony, like walking in a store, grabbing a bunch of stuff, it's a misdemeanor now. So the people who work at the stores won't stop them. The cops don't even want to come arrest them because they write them a traffic ticket now and they let them go. We're going to recriminalize crime. We need to make crimes a crime again. Serious crimes, where you go and threatening people and robbing people, has to go back to being a felony. We're going to put people in jail.
That's definitely a big step to take. And you think that we could start that here in the Valley?
Yes. You know, I was in the legislature. I know how to change state laws. And that is a state law. So we can't just in Fresno say we're going to recriminalize crime. We got to go to the state. We got to implore our legislators to make these changes. Sorry, things just keep popping into my head. In the Tower District, we have a rash of people breaking car windows.
Right.
You probably know people who've had their car window broken in the Tower District.
It seems like, and it's always the Tower every time I hear about it.
And shop windows too. So I don't know if it's gang initiation. I don't know if it's just punk kids as a hobby going around and doing it. But what we're going to do, we're going to get the police. We're going to find who's breaking the windows, and we're going to put them in jail. And if they're juveniles, we're going to hold the parents responsible. We've got to stop the broken windows in the tower.
So we can do that? We're going to have the power to do that?
We're going to have the power to do that when I'm in office. So getting the cops up to 2 cops per 1,000 people, when we did it in the 90s, people said, you can't do that. There's not enough budget. You can't move enough budget around to get that done. So you know what we did? We threw the whole budget out. Throw the budget out, fully funded the police department, got our 2 cops per 1,000, and then we put the rest of the budget back in around what was left. And we did it before, we could do it again. You just have to have the will to do it.
I love that.
And the know-how, because I've done it before. I've been on the council. Any other person just being brand new and going and joining the council, there's a giant learning curve, things they have to figure out.
Well, you were, in the state legislature. Not many people have that experience.
Very, very few have that experience. I don't know what day we air and stuff like that, but I officially announced my candidacy today.
So exciting. What's some of the feedback you've gotten so far?
Well, you probably saw the announcement. We're going to do about 2:15, 2:30 in the Tower District. Now, today is Tuesday. By the way, 22 is the date. Get it Tuesday and then all those Tuesdays.
I got it.
Anyway, so we're about to go down to announce in front of the Tower Theater, and the skies open up with rain. And when's the last time it rained in Fresno? And then, you know what followed the rain? Hail. It just was hailing so hard. And we're about to do the announcement. We thought, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, let's just go down there and maybe we'll duck under the awning at the Tower Theater. As soon as we got all set up to do it, the skies opened and the sun came down. God blessed us right then and there, said, you guys are okay. Did the announcement, and then the skies opened up again.
What a great story. Who's supporting your run now? Because I know you were back in the Jim Patterson days. You had a lot of ties at that time. Who do you know now that's really backing you up?
Well, this is the scary part. A lot of people who are going to vote in this election weren't even born when I was on the council. You might not have been born now. I forget how old you are, but you might not even have been born back then. So there's a lot of people who still know me, a lot of people who remember that I was, you know, anti-crime and cleaning up the graffiti and cleaning up the car thefts in those days in the 90s. A lot remember that, but there's a lot of new people now. But anybody in the tower will say, who do you see walking around the tower of those running? And they'll say, Mike Briggs is the only one. I'm there every single day walking the streets of the tower.
Most people aren't actually walking the streets of where they're going to be.
I actually live in the district.
That's actually pretty exciting. So what are some things that you'll do? Like, are you good at social media now? Or if people DM you and have concerns, you'll listen and
we
respond?
have the Mike Briggs for City Council Facebook page, and we have the web page for Mike Briggs for City Council.
So we can DM him with our questions and concerns, guys.
That would be great, yeah. Send me the question. Ideas are better because, you know, I am just, one thing I came as I get older, and I don't want to say how old I am, but probably twice your age. I don't have all the answers. When I was served before, I thought, I know everything. But now I realize you always have to be seeking the answers. And there's other people out there who have ideas, and I want to hear them.
So who are you going to work with if you get reelected? I know you have some friends like Nathan Magzig and stuff like that. Who are some other people that have your back on all this?
Well, one important thing about the city government, you know, everybody looks to the city to solve our problems, city council, but if you live in a house in the city, you also live in a house in the county with a county supervisor, and you also have a state assemblyman where you live, and a state senator where you live, and a congressman where you live, and a governor where you live. So who I will work with, we need to get all those levels of government working in the same direction. The county of Fresno, for example, has a mental health department, and the state has a mental health department. City, that's not our function, mental health. That's the county and the state. So if we're going to get the homeless, mentally ill homeless off the street, we're going to need all of them. So.
And you have ties with all of them, right? Because
do.
You have Central Valley Talk, and through that you've had a lot of the people come on with the issues. So you know people in different mental health.
I know
you know
the
people.
council members, I know the supervisors, I know the state legislators, and part of the thing is, once you get elected, you got to stop all the partisanship. By the way, I'm running, my party's going to be the common sense party. You know, I'm not going to try to divide the parties. It's a nonpartisan office, so I'm saying I'm going for the common sense party right now. And
so there is no party you're running?
There's no party. We're nonpartisan. City council's nonpartisan, strictly nonpartisan by the rules. But once you're elected, you have to not like push away the other party. You need to bring people in. When I was in the state legislature, I was a Republican, and the legislature was dominated by Democrats. Yet I got more bills passed than any Republican in the history of the legislature. Because,
wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah, because you go to the other side, the Democrats, and you make friends with them, you listen to their concerns and get them involved with you. I used to take Democrats from the city, from LA, out to horse farms, breeding farms and stuff. And you can imagine what kind of stuff they saw that they'd never seen in their lives out at these horse race farms. And then we became friends.
That's so awesome. And then you were also in real estate. Tell us about that.
I have a little real estate brokerage. Just kidding. It's big. It's big. No, I just decided I'm kind of not in the beginning of my life or the middle. I'm kind of in the last half century or whatever. So I've decided to mostly concentrate in the tower district where I live and work. And the coolest homes, you've been in them over there, the coolest homes in the tower district. So I intend to keep doing that.
Are you going to put some of these homeless people in your homes?
Nope. But we're going to find a place for them. You know, I want to be compassionate. And you got to be compassionate for the ill, the mentally ill, and those who've had a crash in their life. We've all had a crash in our lives, but most of us have an option, a parent, a grandma, or a brother you could go crash with for a while. But these new people that are on the streets, they're practically offered an option by the city of Fresno. The option is, just go live on the streets. You don't want to live with your parents or get a second roommate or get a second job. Just go live on the streets, and we're going to take that option away. That's got to be the first thing.
Well, that's definitely important. And if you have to go to Washington to fight some of our battles or travel, are you up for the challenge? Are you up for the task?
Yeah. You know, you have to. As city councilman, when I was in the state legislature, I didn't have Fresno councilmen come and always be talking to me. There's one or two that I remember, but all these other cities that I represented, Clovis, Visalia, they have these big plans. They come and say, this is what we need for our city. And I'm going to be a strong councilman. I'm going to go to our state legislators and to our congressmen and make sure they know what we need. Because you know what? They say money can't buy you happiness, but money can fix a lot of roads and can fix a lot of sidewalks and can help a lot of homeless people. So we're going to go to the state and say, give us our money. Our money. I mean, we've already paid the taxes. We don't need to pay it again. We're going to go to the federal government and say, instead of you guys deciding what's best for us and just give us our money, for goodness sakes. And we could do a lot of good in our community.
How are we going to get that team back into Fresno, though? How are we going to get our baseball team back?
Well, the first step for anything, this is how I do my business, this is how I do my life. You decide what outcome you want first.
Okay.
So I want a AAA team in Fresno. I want a major league team. You know, there's cities smaller than Fresno that have a major league sports franchise like basketball or something, maybe not baseball. But once you decide we want a AAA team again, now it sets the wheels moving. You know, you talk to everybody about it. You know what we may have to do? We may have to start filling up the stadium with people. You know, maybe that's why they dropped to a lower division, because maybe we weren't supporting. I'm not sure. We're going to find out, though.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my show. You're awesome, and I hope that you win.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.